like I struggle with the idea of like getting people enthusiastic and about this industry and management when it when a lot of ideas of quote unquote getting the most out of your workers or getting, feel super exploitive and like treating people like cogs in a machine is is something that like I personally just like, that's why I love the idea of like like it's the balance of like you got to have the healthy communicative work environment that's a fun place because people are going to be spending more times with you than their families most of the time, right? And but you also got to get shit done. And so it's like, when you start getting into these practices or these things where it's like produce productivity, numbers up, that usually means that it's shittier for the worker. But you also want to have a successful business because businesses are designed to make money. Their only fucking agenda.
Literally the only reason why they exist.
Yeah. I got to take a step back when I get like heavy into like for example, when we were working on that project this weekend, right? And I got super in my head of just like putting my head down and powering through it. That made an unfun situation for you. And imagine doing that every single day to an entire team of people.
Well, you could have had a car full of clowns parked out front, and I wouldn't have had fun this weekend. Instead of being a fucking baby because I was sick. I'm not a good sick person. For those of you that ever wondered, there's people that are not annoying when they're sick, and then there's people like me.
Yeah.
If you're in the house, you better have some fucking popsicles, some stories. Like, yeah.
Well, Melissa was sick today.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, it's a pretty wild Cinco.
Oh.
I jumped in the Puget Sound.
You did?
Yeah.
Like at your house?
Yeah.
Must have been cold.
It was very cold. Yeah, it was the last day of teacher parent get together for Harrison's preschool. A couple of the parents came over, and then since it was Cinco de Mayo, the classic line that a mom said is, "Oh, I can't have tequila." Next thing you know, I'll jump into the water. No joke. And I said, well, I'll do it with you.
Did that parent jump in the water?
Yes. Wednesday night.
Wow. So you're still young, man.
Yeah, I don't feel like it. Today I'm all sore and shit. Like I'm not hungover, or I wasn't hungover. I really just am a stickler on pacing and water. Just need to maintain that healthy pace.
Yeah.
Like just fireballs only.
Good cutting enhances the quality of good meat. In his way, the meat cutter is an artist. Poor cutting results in an inferior piece of meat, regardless of quality.
Bunzl Processor Division has been in the food processing and packaging industry for over 135 years, offering over 35,000 of high-quality product designed specifically to meet the needs of the meat processing, butcher, food processing, janitorial, and industrial industries. Bunzl Processor Division also specializes in packaging equipment and supplies, offering the Multivac P-Series line of chamber packaging machine as well as the Clarity trademark line of shrink bag, roll stock film, and vacuum pouches. They have numerous product experts and offer outstanding customer service. And they offer up to free UPS ground shipping on orders over $400 and more. Please support them. People want to be like, hey, Travis, I love the meat block. I want to buy a hat. How can I support the show? You want to support the show? Support Bunzl. Support our sponsors. Also buy a hat. That'd be cool too. Right now, Bunzl is fully stocked on PPE. You got your mask, you got your gloves, you got your nitro gloves, the blue ones. They are back. They were very hard to come by recently. Bunzl's got you covered. Workhorse masks, respirators, they got that. Disposable plastic frocks, they got you covered on that. You need to deal with something that you don't want to get your nice white frock covered in. Put on a disposable blue one. It's a fashion statement. It's a bold fashion statement. It protects what you're wearing. Workhorse masks are great. I wear one every day. Durable, light, and I could trust that it's working. So check out Bunzl Processor Division. That's bunzlpd.com. Once again, that's bunzlpd.com. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Meat Block Podcast. My name is Travis, and this is
David
Zarling, everyone, coming from, he says white salmon. I didn't see any white salmon when I was at his house. He lives in Goldendale.
Goldendale's embarrassing. I mean, you were there.
Yeah.
It's a special place where you go back in time and can really experience old-timey values.
You could really experience 1960s racism firsthand.
Yeah, don't be different. I mean, I thought I looked just like everybody there, and like I was at the grocery store one day, and the lady was like, she wasn't looking at me. She was like looking at the screen, but she like did this like wave with her hand. She was like, "I like your getup," and I was like, "What?"
David, I could have told you that me and you stuck out like fucking sore thumbs when we went to the hardware store together.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
I was like, oh no, like I don't want to project what I feel like this experience was for the bystanders. They could have maybe just not given a shit, and I was just imagining all their looks. But
yeah.
So David's go-to outfit is like many layers lumberjack style, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't help that I wear those boots with the heels.
Yeah, where my go-to style is pretty much sweatpants and like a North Face shirt. I'm very comfortable.
Yeah.
So we just look like a couple of fun guys.
Yeah. Just a couple of fun guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
A few years ago, like Harrison wasn't conceived yet, but we were already living up here. I picked up a consulting gig for a Washington State inspected poultry unit that was coming online, and they needed help training their staff. Having experience in poultry slaughter and harvesting and breakdown and things like that, I took this. I gave them a pitch, a realm of practice, and I learned many things in the story I'm about to tell. Set a price, what this would include, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the price was that I set. I do know I should have gone higher. And my initial was I went over the unit with the designer or the people who built this thing and their staff, the staff they hired. before the unit was even to go out, right?
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yeah.
And to go over it. And I'm not like there to talk about the unit. I'm there to train hands-on. Okay. Practical use of slaughter. I know how I know the flow. I know essentially the temperatures you want your plucker at and the rotations, etc. So yeah, so I show up, go over the unit. I have, I think like 10 birds. I developed a pre-op checklist for them for under Washington State. They already had like a bunch of, they didn't have their actual paperwork finite. I went through flows and delegated job descriptions between these people.
How long of an engagement was this?
My first one, it was an 8-hour day.
You did all that in 8 hours?
Yeah, it was
It's
like
a big day.
Yeah, and this is before the unit went out. The first part was just like, all right, before you start, you need to, this is how you check your unit. This is how you do this, etc. There was they already went over the mechanics of the unit with the design team, right? How to turn on the hot water, how to like the circuit boards, the cooling units, all the things that are independent from my knowledge. Because when you go and consult, you don't know how to put a cooler on a defrost cycle, do you, David? Well, you do, but like
unless it's one that I've specifically used, no. Yeah.
So I go over there. I do these mock-ups to the point where I think I bought a couple of rubber chickens to put them in the cones to show where to slice them. Talked about like jugular slicing, leaving the trachea intact, and then even talked about pivoting a pivot stick. I mean, you ever do that?
A pivot stick?
Yeah, where you stick like a pointy paring knife in the roof of the mouth of the chicken and then press up into the brain. And then bleed. So we went over all those things because there wasn't a standard practice under Washington State inspection about it was either like electrocution, rapid decapitation, or bleeding. And I don't like rapid decapitation because it opens up the trachea to get fluids inside, etc. So, and it sounds terrible.
Yeah.
So I go over all this.
That's a fucking good name for a band, though.
Rapid decapitation.
Dude, that's great. That's patented right now.
Yeah.
That's us. We got that.
Where's everyone from tonight?
Yep. We got the amps. We got the guitars.
I need more feedback.
Got the name.
Yeah. So great day. I even did a demo because these people, they wanted to part out birds inside the unit, which I'm like, this is not, you're never going to do this. So whatever. Next day, right? Or a week later, I'm meeting the unit out on one of the islands here. Take a small.
So a week later, you're going to meet them on site for a kill.
Yeah, for the first kill this unit's going to do.
Gotcha.
Right? And it was like I haven't done too many consulting gigs before this. But I get out there and I meet an entirely different crew. All right, guys, just jumping in again to say, check out Bunzl Processor Division. That's bunzlpd.com. Don't skip this ad. Listen to what I got to say. Do you use a captive bolt in your daily life? Does your plant, and it's like out of date, antiquated, and it doesn't really work anymore, and you're not really trusting it right now to the end of May, you get a $400 value on your used, outdated captive bolt going towards a new model made by Jarvis. Please check this out. It's an amazing deal. It's great. It could help you. It could help save you in a humane handling issue. If you don't trust your current machine, just trade it in for $100 value towards a new one. That's until the end of May. Thank you. Just head over to bunzlpd.com. bunzlpd.com. But I get out there and I meet an entirely different crew.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. I think
Were you in the wrong place?
No. All the people I trained, except for one person, quit. Which goes back to you're getting people who are, you're going to pay minimum wage to have all this responsibility and work overtime and all this stuff when they could easily just get a job being a logger or doing construction and not killing animals. And, you know, because a lot of people, it's not their dream to do this. And waiting around a week, you get a job, and like your job, you had the hiring process. Most people, when they get a job, is they don't just apply to one job. Then they wait around a week until it actually starts. A lot could happen within that week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, no. Not being told any of this before I got there, right?
Oh, dude, what?
Being in communications with the entity that owned the thing. And they're backing up, and then the shit just starts coming. All right. They want the unit to park in a way where the drain drains appropriately, and you hook up these things, right?
Who's they?
The farmer wanted the farmer. But they're coming to me like it's like I'm now the manager of this. I'm not.
Oh shit! You're just there to show them. You're just there to oversee.
Yeah.
As like a consultant.
Yeah. Oh, Travis. Do you remember how to turn on the cooler?
Oh no.
What? No one ever showed me that because I don't work. I'm not your boss. I'm a consultant. I'm here to do this, and that's it. Okay. Oh, Travis, the cooler's reading an error code. Do you know what it is? No. But considering that I don't see this day fucking ending, I guess I'm going to go on YouTube, hike up on top of this hill on Lummi Island because there's no service, and watch a video about how to clear this error code on this cooler.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
So you had a totally new crew that never killed birds before. How many birds do you have to kill?
I think we had to make it through 50.
Yeah.
And it was going to be, the unit was going to be there for 2 days.
Yeah.
And and there's many shitty things, but like it was the drainage was so messed up that the waiting area for where the birds were, we had to stack the crates on 2 pallets high because the birds would be sitting in 4 inches of water.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And it was a mess. It was a nightmare. Getting actual birds. Like now not only am I showing people what to do who've never done it before. I don't have my props. I don't have any of that thing. So now it's physically, I'm showing people how to draw birds. And drawing birds is eviscerating birds. And it's messy. There were so many popped gallbladders. People were just like ripping, and it's and by halfway through the day, we finally got the finesse down. But there's gravity, or there's not gravity lines. People could draw birds up on shackles or on a bench. And it depends how it's set up and how your sanitation is. If you have constantly flowing water, so you could rinse if you're doing it on a table. This was set up so you would eviscerate or draw the birds on the shackle. But it was just a little bit too high for most people to draw at that angle. And it was easier. So the flow was so fucking dumb. And I didn't realize it until I saw it in practice.
Oh, man. And nobody had used it. And,
yeah. It's just like fundamental things that like now it's like, oh yeah, one, I'll never consult on a poultry unit like this again. But like, so they're bled, scalded, plucked, then passed through this window, right? Into the eviscerating area where they're shackled, then drawn, and there's this U pipe rail that has like 8 shackles on it that doesn't go in a circle. So if you put like so it's fucking pointless to empty it. You have to empty all of them, and to refill them, you have to it was dumb. Anyway,
it sounds terrible.
Yeah, and not to mention, the farmer wanted everything he possibly could take. He wanted cleaned gizzards. He wanted
no.
Yeah.
God damn it!
He wanted feet on birds. He wanted head on birds.
What?
Yeah.
Did you actually have to scrape the feet and everything?
Remove the pads, remove the top nail, remove all the...
What?
Yeah.
By hand?
Well, after they came out of the scalder, it's a little bit looser, but you still got to cut those pads down. You still got to do all this extra work, get all the pin feathers off the head. We're not an inspection, so there's corners to be cut, but you still want the product to be good at the other end. And then just the gizzards alone.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I never peeled chicken gizzards before, ever, until that day. Because it just wasn't... to me, organ harvesting was always just liver and heart.
Yes, you know? Same.
And
unless you got the machine to do the gizzards, it's just it's a profit loser.
Yeah, and that harvesting gizzards under USDA where we didn't do it because of cleanliness. Because you have to peel it, remove the feet or that shit in there, rinse it and all that. So it's like, oh no. And then also with like feet, I would never say feet on the bird, right? I would always cut them off and then just end up with a bag of feet at the end. But yeah, they wanted their bird head on, feet on, gizzards, heart, liver. And then these were air chilled, not a slosh tank, which just means they got like partially frozen. And if you forgot, and if you didn't time it right, then you ended up with like a straight up frozen bird. And now most birds, like in poultry processing, use a suction bag or deflator or whatever. You put the bird in a bag, put a hose in, suck all the air out, then staple it shut. These were set up with vacuum sealers with 3 mil bags, but with feet on birds, there's pointy parts now. And then, so things I never thought I had to do that day was learn how to drive their truck, learn how to set up their freezer and their cooler, learn how to run their scale by putting in PLUs and creating PLUs. And yeah, I guess that's it. Now, if I were to walk on a consulting job, I would have, and that were to happen today, I would have gone home, charged them for the day, and then said it's up to them if they want me back. because that's not what I signed up for.
No, that sounds terrible.
And
I mean, yeah, man, that sounds like a grueling slog of a day.
it went on forever and hours.
And was anybody in charge?
No. So like so I went out 3 different times. I met up with the team 4 times altogether, right? First time to train people that never showed back up. And then a refresher course and all this. Every single time, there was at least 70%. Not even like, I can't even say 70%. It was like 4 people ran on the fucking machine, or ran on the unit, and it was never the same people. Ever. I think the best I got was one person was there 2 times.
But they weren't paying very well.
No. And they ended up getting this manager who was a line operator out of Draper, who took it like super seriously and all this stuff, and good to him. But like, even with all of his like experience and know-how and stuff like that, the thing just wasn't viable and is no longer around. I got into arguments with farmers about it, about explaining what my role was. Like, well, you need to tell them to do this. I'm sorry, that's not my fucking job. My job is to make sure.
How often did you? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
How often did you do this?
I did it 4 times.
4 times.
Gotcha. Yeah, because it was, the idea is like, 4 days, and then I'm done. It would be like a good training, etc. But it wasn't booked. Like, it didn't have more than like 1 booking a week. But by the time the next booking came around, people wanted different jobs, etc.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Sounds like a shit show, man.
Yeah, I was working a regular job at the time, and I told the unit, "Oh, I won't be able to make it there until this time." I get there, and everyone's waiting for me to show them how to do their fucking job because it's all new people.
Oh, no way! So you were late, and they didn't even get started.
Yeah, and then the farmer's like, "Well, where were you?" I'm like,
what?
Yeah.
You're a hired gun trainer.
Yeah.
Wow. And again, the person that was in charge, did you have words with them?
Yeah. I told them that this isn't really the idea and how to, what I was signing up for, and they're apologetic. And then then I also felt guilty because I was late and I was holding them back. But like, just for looking back and talking through it right now, it's like, fuck them.
Yeah, they sound like they do bad business.
Yeah. But yeah, that one first day out there on Lummi Island, and I'm at this place, and it's this beautiful farm, and it was a 2-day stint. I went home that day. They ended up staying there. The place, I think, had a hotel on there, and I got to explore some of these weird rooms down where we were had the unit, and they had a whole chicken processing facility, custom exempt, already set up that they just didn't use.
What?
And I was talking to the owner, and I was like, "Why don't you use this?" And he's like, "Well, we wanted to, see how this would be, because I don't have the staffing to run this right now."
Oh dear fuck.
And I'm like, "All right." And the owner just was there the entire time, casually, like peeling gizzards, like you would like whittle like a stick into a smaller stick, just like.
I hate that.
Yeah, just like, just talking to me. It's like, man, I get you're being polite or whatever, or you're just, this is your way to monitor that everything's happening good with your product. But this sucks. Like, do you know what I don't need right now? The added stress of you being here. Oh, it looks like you missed that liver. Ugh.
What?
Yeah.
Must have been a decent paycheck because the first thing like that would have
Yeah.
been.
I learned
that's a particular feedback that I have a very hard time with. Remember that one time, that place that we worked? You didn't work there anymore. But the wife side of the ownership team came in one day when I was literally the only employee.
Mhm.
And I had to cut I don't know, I had to cut whatever. I wasn't very fast then, but she came in and she was like, "What did you do all day?" Like, that was it, dude.
Yeah.
That was the straw that broke the camel's back. You missed the liver. You missed the chicken liver.
Oh, it looks, yeah. I had when I worked I worked retail, and it was like my third day at this new position, and I just remember it so distinctly. Like, did you hire me to cut, or did you hire me to be a counter person? Because I can't do all. I don't know where anything is, your POUs, how to talk to customers, your fucking ranches that you use, any of this stuff. And I was there for like 2 hours, and the owner's like, "I'm just staring at you, and you just look lost." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I am." He's like, what have you even done today?" And I was like, the only thing I could think of is like, I cut a Packer style brisket for someone. They're like, "What, a Packer style brisket? What is that? What does that even mean?" And I'm like, "Granted, it's kind of funny. You don't know what a Packer style brisket is. But also, it's like the easiest thing in the world to cut, so I can't really like say too much on it anyway." So,
Where was this?
L.A.
In California?
Yeah. I was just so irate. Like, what did you even do? What? I
Is that
don't
a
know.
retail shop?
Yeah, where I met Melissa, where I met my wife.
Oh, that owner said something like that to you when you first started working there?
Yeah, I got berated down there. It was toxic.
Really?
Yeah, it was super abusive.
I mean, I knew there was a bunch of dumbass shit that happened in that place that I've heard from other people, but I didn't know that it was like that too.
Yeah, I don't know. Your goal should always be to lift up people, not to like take pride when you like make a grown man cry for no fucking reason. Not me. I never cried. I'm a man with a big throbbing cock. But other men
Yeah,
did.
but people, when that happens, it's generally because you're a fucking dingus and you don't know what you're doing. If you pull the other people around you down like that,
yeah,
you're a fucking phony.
it's yeah, toxic workplaces. Coincidentally, that place I was at in Lummi Island doing that chicken poultry was
Yeah. Where was that?
That was the Willows Inn.
Oh, that surprises me because I've heard that's such a great place to work.
I know. I
Just
didn't.
kidding.
They did tell me I missed a chicken liver though. So,
yeah,
you read the New York Times article. I read
did.
the New York Times article.
Yeah.
I have many issues. I just want to say, first and foremost, when I was there, I did not, besides being out of my element and dealing with weird passive aggressiveness, that's the only thing I experienced in the 2 days I was there. I think I have to say that. Right?
Fuck, I don't know. I mean,
But that being said, my personal stance is I tend to believe victims of assault.
Of course, 100%.
I tend to side more with the victim and the person complaining. I don't think people want to, in a culture that we know kitchens and are meant to, we've experienced it, and that just super toxic environment and culture. I don't think people who are in the industry are going to do anything to make themselves come off as they couldn't hack it or they couldn't hang or that's just how it is.
No, not in that industry.
And they're not going to put themselves in the crosshairs of someone just because of lie or attention. So I just want to say that's why I tend to believe stories like this.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I agree with you.
I don't know why kitchen culture is so toxic.
I feel like we need to do a whole episode. I don't even know if we can tackle. There's so many things. So many things to say about that.
Yeah. And I can't do it any service because I've never worked in a kitchen.
I probably won't again. If I did, it would have to be a pretty special circumstance. It's bad, man. I mean, the culture is fucking crazy.
But I worked at an industry bar that served a bunch of front of house people, a bunch of back of house people, and also served a bunch of cocaine.
Mm-hmm. 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 Just speaking about the like you ought to be innocent until you're proven guilty, but you also ought to be considered honest until you're proven not. I think we should side with people who have a story to tell. You got to take people seriously, and then you look into it, right?
Yeah, and I just think that it's like many things. I don't think it's a cabal-like conspiracy of people getting together to talk shit or to trash your name or something. It's like
no,
just like I know we have good friends who are super passionate and would drop the dime if they like found out that someone was sourcing a certain way that they weren't sourcing. And a big issue with the Willows and what the New York Times article was talking about was the supplementing of products through vendors that the end consumer probably wouldn't have supported if given the opportunity.
Oh, for sure.
And
we should say first and foremost, any like taking advantage of or exploitation or like sexual abuse or like giving substances to minors or coercion or anything like that takes because of a power dynamic takes away somebody's innocence or like what or their puts them in a position where they feel like they got to do something they normally would do, whatever it is. That's the most important thing that came out of that article. I know I don't have to say it. I know that.
Yeah,
I know that that's implied, but
yeah, and
the sourcing thing is really fucked up too.
And the point I was trying to make is just even that alone. Is bad, but you throw in holding people hostage or misleading them based on raises or opportunities that were never going to come up. That's huge. So, minors drinking, sexual assault, discrimination, racist jokes, things like that. The article's painful. And I saw you share their story.
I'm throwing my hands up right now in the air
because when they did their I don't even know it wasn't an apology. It wasn't accountability.
Have they been sleeping under a fucking tire for the last 3 to 5 years?
Yeah.
Like, what person in their right mind, after every opportunity we've had to learn, would release a statement like that? Like, even if you're somebody that knows the place and hasn't had that experience and you want to be like, I'm going to look into that. Or if you're a manager and you somehow are a fool and are oblivious and you're like, I need to look into this. We need to hit pause on this. Like, we need to do our diligence and go through the proper channels through HR so that everybody's protected. Whatever.
Also, yeah, and them even stating like, oh, we're going to get an HR team, etc. Like all that tells like here. This is like this is a leftist viewpoint from me, and this is like where every once in a while it creeps in, right? HR is the fucking company cops. They are not there for you. They are there to benefit the company. It's like talking to HR.
You mean rightist opinion or leftist?
That's the leftist opinion.
Oh.
Why did I say rightist?
No, I don't. I know.
Oh, yeah. Because HR is company cops. Their best interest is the company, not the workers. They're wanting to make sure, it's public relations. It's making sure that your complaint, does it justify a change? Does it justify addressing it? Or does it justify removing you? And I know that's a callous thing to say. A good, lovely person that I work with daily is a retired HR person, and they aren't that person. But I feel that I could say that comfortably as an umbrella term statement.
Yeah, the response was lame as shit. It didn't it was like a bunch of what about isms and like, well, other people do this and the industry is just terrible and well, we didn't know what we were doing because we were just keeping up with the pace of traffic and dude, it was like so flaccid.
Yeah.
And I would have respected it more if they were just like, yeah, you know what, we fooled your asses. Now we got your money, and now we're never going to open again because you guys know about it. But yeah, we source from a bunch of places, and we behaved ourselves poorly in the restaurant, and we're never going to open again. Like, I don't fucking know, dude. I don't know what it would take, but what they put out was it just wasn't well thought out.
Yeah.
And it was days later, right? So it was like you had time to not. I mean, if they would have put it out 3 hours later, yeah, you would have done it 3 hours later. It would have been like, okay, well, you better follow that up.
Yeah.
With something. But days later, a week later, whatever the hell it was, like,
yeah, it was shitty. And if you're listening to this and you're like, and you work at a place and you're just like, that's just the culture. No, it's not. Stop that nonsense.
Yeah. Stop perpetuating that shit. It's not the culture.
Yeah.
That's probably it for us. Just about.
Yeah.
I wanted to say something about cutting. Or maybe not. I don't know.
But you'd say I'm still recording.
I wanted to say something about cutting the stick wounds out of beef, but maybe I should wait for the beginning of the next episode because I think it's so important. Yeah. I'll just preface it here and we'll come back to it.
Okay. Was that you prefacing it?
Hey, kill floor people, final trim people, cut the goddamn stick wound out of the beef. I was processing beef. Well, yes, all animals, but I was processing beef out of a place out here on the West Coast in the northwest corner-ish. And this beef came from the plant, didn't clean up the neck at all, had a bunch of hair jammed up in the fucking stick wound. It was an E. coli nightmare, and there was blood up in the way up in the shoulder, not purge, like actual rancid ass stinking blood, because they didn't get a good stick on. They were fishing all over the place. They were up in the first and second rib. There was 2 beef, and they were both the same way. The one had a better stick, but they didn't clean the wound out. There was a bunch of clots all up in the shoulder. Come on. And if it's about weigh the motherfucker first, and then put the hot tag on there, and then clean the neck up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's about that, but like, have some dignity, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, because most of that gets trimmed off anyway, because that's the first shit that turns dark in the cooler.
Hell yeah, it gets moldy, and then not to mention you didn't clean the stick wound up, and they didn't even open the hide first. They just jammed it in.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't use a 2-knife system, so it was all full of hair. It's like, fuck, man.
Gross.
If anyone needs help training their final rail, the Meat Block would love to visit your plant.
Yes. All right. Till next time, keep your knife sharp.
And live in the margin.
And stop. Thank you. If you want to support the show, tag us on Instagram, like and subscribe on iTunes, and support Bunzl Processor Division by heading over to bunzlpd.com and checking out their great deals that they have going on this month. Support us by supporting them. Thank you very much. Until next time, keep your knife sharp and live in the margin.